Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coding with Agents. This is Marcio, and today this is another episode in this series where I'm actually bringing back old demonstrations from the web, starting with some of the early demonstrations that I had the opportunity to contribute. So, what you see here in this image is the actual how it looked like the browser in around 2000. Okay, and that's the welcome page. So you just install the browser. Today, for instance, when I was opening Chrome, and then I realized new things because a web page gave me this, what we see as a guided tour experience, right? When you're onboarding the user to basically, Chrome was asking me to, you know, preview the new AI search function. Okay. So that's something that we know from these days, right? At any time that you open a software application, you may actually that software application may actually say, "Hey, wait a minute, right? Let me tell you something." Right? That's something I want to go back to that in other episode because uh, what's happening now that if every single piece of user interface becomes an agent, right, and smart agent powered by AI or with natural language, the problem that we're going to have is they're going to start, all of those interfaces will try to sell us something. But they may not know that we are in a hurry. So that's something for another day, right? But back in the days, you had to wait a whole year to the next release of the browser product, right? And then by the Netscape days, we were shortening these development cycles. But we came from the days like cars, right? Every 4 years, a new model. And the browser, right? We had the days back in the Netscape buildings, 200 uh, geek nerds were working together to ship a browser. All right. This is how it looked like in around 2000. Okay. The browser. All right. And in the middle, so I had the opportunity when I joined Netscape as an intern to write my good friend John Gable in marketing. He and I had to do many demonstrations back in the day to show to developers how to use dynamic HTML, basically moving bits and pieces of the HTML on the screen, increasing interactivity uh, in the pages for web pages, and of course, we back in the days were promoting web standards, W3C standards because of the browser wars. That's another episode. Nevertheless, so John Gable gave me the opportunity to say, "Hey, man, do you want to help me out in implementing HTML, this welcome page?" Because back in the days, the welcome experience could be like an image, right? And I was like, "Of course, I'm here to do dynamic HTML. That's the only thing I know how to do, right?" And I had to do. I had a task, and so I implemented this in HTML. So there's no images in this except that logo, okay? Except the Netscape logo right there. That's the only image. Meaning the big six that you see behind everything is a text, right? So that's something for us here to reflect. But then the internship ended. I had to return to Brazil. And a year later, when I returned to Netscape as an employee back to Mountain View, John told me something. I would try to reach out to you because the that page was crashing the browser, and I don't know if they did or not. But if I, of course, I didn't see any emails or anything. Like nobody called me. I guess they wanted me to complete university, not bother me. But the thing is, yes, that would actually potentially crash the browser because it's quite early to have a big six number back then in the background there, right? And now with Codex, we can. I brought back the demonstration also to so we can see what's going on that page, right? So let me give you this view, right? So if I reload here, right, and try to adjust to zero, right, zero, oops, zero, zero is zero, right? It kind of looks like as the page would open up in a browser. So we need a reset, right? So this entire bringing back this HTML, I took the HTML page, I found the source because I found in Web Archive, and but the whole source was broken, so you couldn't see anything, right? But here you can see. But not only that, right? We can actually wait, go back to 3D. You see, we can actually see the layers right there, right? And we can animate here. So you get an idea about the elements. So you see, it's all text. There is indeed a logo in their image, right? Actually, there are other images in there, right? The arrows. Those were images back in the day. Everything else is text, right? And if I rotate here for you, oops, yeah, something like this, right? Yeah, then you see from another angle. Now, there is a missing piece here in this version. You see the what's new, let us reload, right? You see the what's new element in there, right? As far as I remember, that text was, when you see, because you see there is a, like a notion. Let me show you here. Yeah, it's under it, right? It's like the horizon of an ocean. That was the idea there. But the effect when you have the reflection in the ocean, and that was also there. And somebody took that out because that's not how I implemented. As far as I remember the reflection. Okay, so that's something to, plugging back perhaps. I don't even know how easy it would be a prompt for that, right? Because I took the HTML and that piece is not there. So let us assume this is the end, okay, of this episode. And now cut, and I'm gonna try to implement that mirror effect on the text, okay? So you see the what's new, you see the what's new text. It's absolute position, right? So would it be possible to absolute flip vertically that a copy of that text in white with the baseline the bottom, so to look like a mirror reflection? Let's go by steps, right? So here the idea is, what if we just flip the text, right, vertically in white for now. That's the beginning. But then the logic that I did back in the days is, it wasn't just the text in there, right? Because we didn't have filters, let's say, to put some transparency. So this would be like one filter there today, like a gradient, transparency gradient on that flipped text. But then back in the day, I had to do that. I was doing that with multiple copies of the text, showing just one line. It's almost like you take a picture of yourself, you take another picture of yourself, flip the picture below it, and then you cut stripes, right, of that, and you cut like you remove the even stripes after you cut many stripes, right? So it kind of looks like transparent. Maybe, yeah, that was something like that. So let us see what we have now. Oops, wait. Can you also set up a button so that XYZ0 is a shortcut? I think I saw texting there. Yeah, what something. So it's basically in the wrong location, right? Yeah, I see in there. So back to the text. Put that text exactly where the other is, on top, absolute, and just flip vertically, 100% with rotation. Okay. So now we have this at least, right? So we can see things better. Or you can do this, or you can do this, right? The text is there in the wrong location. Right. Do this. Maybe we need, could you put that color red for that though? Color red for the duck. Right. Flip 180, I mean. Maybe I meant like flip, I don't know, 360. Looks like this. You just send the image, right? Sometimes. If it can fix easily, why bother trying to guess what's wrong in implementation, right? I mean, sometimes we're triangulating things, right? All right. It's on div, right? Then that red one only. Only. Trying to be more precise there sometimes helps, right? Right. You see, that's good, right? That's the beginning. So we put that now, since absolute positioning, more 30 pixels. 30 pixels to the bottom. So that's something, not the first, the red one. Right. Now it's kind of in the right place, right? Now that was white. Okay, that's one thing. Again, now back 5 pixels to above, then make like 10 copies of it, 15, 10 copies of it, okay? One on top of each other. For each one, I want a clip, okay? Wait a minute. What I mean, imagine that you click the div, so preserve the inside in the locked in position as if that we have. For example, for the first element, I see the top five pixels. For the second, up to 10. For the second, I see from 15 to 25. Okay, but this the height is not equals to 2px, not 5px. I use it 5px for you as an example. When it passes the height, it's okay, not neutral anyway. See my point? Will look like stripes. Let's see if that works. That was the idea, right? Take a stripe of each clone image. I'll turn the red duplicate into 10 identical locked position copies, each clipped to a 2px horizontal stripe, moving the red layer up 5px first, from 62 to 57. I'm going to implement the stripes using clip path. That's okay. Back in my days was absolute overflow hidden divs, I guess. Okay, right. We have kind of the effect in there. See, now the gaps, right? Could you shorten the gaps? Could you shorten the gap to 2px and make the red white? That's pretty much what we had back in the days to some extent. I will make the stripe cadence tight, tighter. Whoops. Now I don't see anything. Wait, where is it? Oh, the animation here, it's not picking up that yet, right? So I can't see, it's not like the full debugging. Can see it now, back to red. It doesn't look like a problem of color though. No, it was there. Oh, that's behind. Gradient image, the element near that text, right? I do recall, yes, the band near. Right. Can you put on top of that? Can you put our reflection with stripes on top of that? Absolute wise. Because it's appearing under it, right? And move now the whole reflection block up and px. Yeah, well, it was a problem with communication, I guess, because it confused on top with the top height position, right? think is worth that. Wait, the band gradient is not showing up. Go back. See the image somehow the flip, the top stripes not showing, and the whole reflection stripes bring to the top by minus 25x. Then somehow the top strip's not showing, right? We got it right before. Of course, in this case, I'm not at all looking at HTML to be able to suggesting better solutions straight to the point, right? Now, now the what no text went behind. Much better, better, but there are red stripes under some blue lines. Right. Almost there, I guess. Much more the index above. Ah, so that's something else. I guess the problem is with the flipping, right? You starting from the top, from the before flip text, right? Can you start the clippings from the bottom? I guess the problem is another thing, right? Because maybe it started from these elements, right? It went up to there. Oops. Right. This is great. I see only two stripes. Mm-hmm. Right. This is what we had, right? Now make that white. Now make that white. You see, it's very, very um, subtle, right? But it was something like this. Move up, top, minus, get, to get spa. Right, you see, it's right there. And of course, I had some other adjusting there because it after some point, right, it would just end at that band right there. Right. You see, something like that, right? Indeed. So indeed, lots of things there to crash the browser. And I guess that's okay for the session. Thank you very much.